Hey, do you know what the simple past tense is?
Yeah, it's a verb tense used to describe completed actions in the past.
Exactly. Can you give me an example?
Sure. I walked to the store yesterday is a sentence in the simple past tense. It's describing a completed action that happened in the past.
Oh, I see. So, what's the difference between the simple past tense and other past tenses?
Well, the simple past tense is used to describe actions that happened and are finished in the past. Other past tenses, like the past continuous or the past perfect, describe actions that were ongoing or had an impact on the past.
Got it. Can you give me some more examples of sentences in the simple past tense?
Sure, here are a few. She studied Spanish in college. I played soccer with my friends yesterday. He watched a movie last night. They went to the beach on their vacation.
Okay, I think I understand. But what about irregular verbs? How do you form the simple past tense for them?
Well, it depends on the verb. Irregular verbs have their own unique past forms that you just have to memorize. For example, the past form of eat is ate, and the past form of go is went.
That makes sense. But what about negative sentences in the simple past tense?
To form a negative sentence in the simple past tense, you need to use the auxiliary verb did plus not plus base form of the verb. For example, I did not eat breakfast this morning, or they did not go to the concert last night.
And how about questions in the simple past tense?
To form a question in the simple past tense, you also need to use the auxiliary verb did, but this time you put it before the subject. For example, did you eat breakfast this morning? Or, did they go to the concert last night?
I see. Thanks for explaining all of that. Do you have any tips for practicing the simple past tense?
Sure. One way to practice is to tell stories about things that happened in the past, using the simple past tense. You can also read books or watch movies in English that use the simple past tense to get more familiar with it.
That's a good idea. I'll definitely try that out. Thanks for all your help.
No problem. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you need more practice.
Hey, do you know how to form the simple past tense for regular verbs?
Yeah, for regular verbs, you just add ed to the base form of the verb. For example, walked, talked, played.
Right. But what about irregular verbs? How do you form the simple past tense for those?
Well, irregular verbs have their own unique past forms that you have to memorize. For example, the past form of eat is ate, and the past form of go is went.
That seems tricky. How do I know which verbs are irregular?
There's no rule for which verbs are irregular, so you just have to memorize them. But there are some common irregular verbs that you'll encounter a lot, like be, have, and do.
I see. So, how do you use irregular verbs in a sentence, in the simple past tense?
Well, you use the past form of the verb instead of the base form. For example, instead of saying, I go to the store yesterday, you would say, I went to the store yesterday.
Oh, I get it. So, can you give me some more examples of irregular verbs and their past forms?
Sure. Here are some common ones. Be, was, were. Have, had. Do, did. Go, went. Eat, ate. See, saw. Take, took. Speak, spoke. Give, gave. Make, made.
Wow, there are a lot of irregular verbs. It seems like it would be hard to remember all of them.
It can be challenging, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. You can try making flashcards or using a verb chart to help you memorize them.
That's a good idea. Thanks for the tip. So, just to clarify, when I'm using the simple past tense, I use the past form of the verb for irregular verbs, and ed for regular verbs.
Exactly. The simple past tense is used to describe completed actions in the past, and for regular verbs, you just add ed to the base form of the verb to form the past tense. For irregular verbs, you have to memorize the past form.
Okay, got it. Thanks for explaining all of that.
No problem. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you want more practice.
Hey, can you explain when to use the simple past tense?
Sure. The simple past tense is used to describe actions that happened in the past and are finished. It's often used when you want to talk about something that occurred at a specific time in the past.
Okay, can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you want to talk about something you did yesterday. You might say, I walked to the store yesterday. Walked is the simple past tense of walk, and it tells us that the action was completed in the past.
I see. So, it's like a way to talk about things that already happened?
Exactly. And it's not just for one-time events like walking to the store. It can also be used to describe a series of completed actions in the past.
Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. Let's say you're talking about a vacation you took last year. You might say, we went to the beach, swam in the ocean, and ate ice cream every day. Went, swam, and ate are all in the simple past tense, and they describe a series of completed actions that happened in the past.
I get it. So, what about something that happened a long time ago?
It still works the same way. For example, if you want to talk about something you did in college, you might say, she studied Spanish in college. Studied is the simple past tense of study, and it tells us that the action happened in the past and is finished.
Okay, I think I understand. So, can you give me some more examples of the simple past tense?
Sure. Here are some more examples. He watched a movie last night. I played soccer when I was a kid. She wrote a book last year. They visited their grandparents over the weekend.
Those are helpful examples. So, is the simple past tense only used for completed actions?
Yes, that's right. The action has to be finished in the past in order to use the simple past tense.
Okay, got it. And what about the word yesterday? Can you only use the simple past tense with that?
No, you can use the simple past tense with any specific time in the past. For example, I met my friend at the park on Saturday. Met is in the simple past tense because it's a completed action that happened at a specific time in the past.
I see. Thanks for explaining that to me.
No problem. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you want more practice.
Hey, can you explain what signal words are?
Sure. Signal words are words or phrases that help you identify when to use the simple past tense.
How do they work?
Well, signal words often indicate that the action happened at a specific time in the past. For example, yesterday is a signal word that tells you the action happened in the past, and it's a good time to use the simple past tense.
Can you give me some more examples of signal words?
Sure. Here are some common signal words: yesterday, last week, last month, in 1999, ago, and many more.
Okay, I think I get it. So, if I say, I went to the store yesterday, that would be an example of using the simple past tense with a signal word?
Yes, that's right. Yesterday is a signal word that tells us the action happened in the past, and went is the simple past tense of go.
That makes sense. So, can you give me some more examples of sentences with signal words?
Sure, here are some examples. He graduated from college in 2020. We visited our grandparents last weekend. She finished her homework an hour ago. I met my best friend in elementary school.
Okay, I'm starting to see how it works. So, what about when there's no signal word?
You can still use the simple past tense, but it's usually used for actions that are not connected to the present. For example, I played soccer when I was a kid. There's no signal word in that sentence, but played is in the simple past tense because it's a completed action that happened in the past and is not connected to the present.
I see. So, what happens if I use the wrong tense with a signal word?
It can cause confusion for the listener or reader. For example, if you say, I am going to the store yesterday, it doesn't make sense because am going is in the present tense, but yesterday is a signal word that tells us the action happened in the past. It would make more sense to say, I went to the store yesterday.
Okay, I think I understand. Can you give me some more examples of sentences with signal words in the simple past tense?
Sure, here are some more examples. She visited Paris 2 years ago. We went to the beach last summer. He played basketball in high school. I ate pizza for dinner last night.
Those are helpful examples. So, the key is to look for the signal words and use the simple past tense when they appear.
Yes, that's right. Using the simple past tense with signal words can help make your sentences more clear and understandable to your listener or reader.
Thanks for explaining that to me.
You're welcome. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you want more practice.